2414 is a podcast about finding hope and common ground through casual conversation. Like the friends on the road in the New Testament, in Luke chapter 24, verse 14, we want to walk away with more understanding that leads to more conversation as the journey continues. Thanks for walking with us.
Hey, welcome to 2414. My name's Dan, sitting next to Madeline, across for our diagonal from Thomas, and next to Shane. Thank you, friends, for being at the table today. Thank you, viewers and listeners alike. 2414 is a podcast just having regular conversation about regular life, processing things and finding joy and sharing sorrow and slowing down to talk about hopefully some things that matter and some things that are just real. Thomas, Madeline, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really glad you're here. Shane, hey.
Hey.
No, welcome.
He's always here.
It seems like you're always here.
I'm just here.
And when you're here, I don't get to sit over there and push the buttons, so it's almost worse. But no, that wouldn't be good because I'd have too much fun, which wouldn't translate to anybody else but me. Today, we're continuing to talk about theater in a church and the upcoming production of Music Man. Is it The Music Man? A Music Man? Or just Music Man?
I think it's The Music Man.
Okay, I'm sorry. I forgot
sure.
I hear like a mixture of everything sometimes, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
I know someone's binder who is smarter than me. Their binder says The Music Man, so I've been going off of that.
Yeah.
Okay. So The Music Man is going to be the upcoming production here at St. Luke's. There's still, depending on when you're listening to this, time to come and see it. But before we get into things about theater, I love to hear and share highs and lows, something that's a low, discouraging, frustrating, sad in your day, week, month, hour. A high, something that's, you can brag, you can celebrate, or you can just sort of rejoice together. And then the question of the day, depending on when you listen to this, we are near-ish Halloween, but is there a particular candy that if it shows up in your bag, bucket, it's going right in the trash can?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. 100%.
And on the other side, is there one that you're rooting around hoping to find in there that got it? Okay. So which candy is going right in the trash can? Which one are you most excited to see? So Shane, you want to kick us off? Lows, highs, and some Halloween candy preferences?
I could do that. Yeah. All right. So I'll start with highs this time because why not? I don't know. Highs. Lauren and I got Lauren's car back. It's been in the shop for close to 4 months, and it was because we were in like the warranty company and the dealership repair shop weren't agreeing, and so we were caught in the middle of it. And it was like, well, somebody owes money. It's like, well, why not the very wealthy warranty company that has all the money and that we had paid for? So, long story short, the warranty company finally budged, and we only had to pay on the deductible for it and whatnot. So we got a car back, and it's so exciting to have that. And so now I'm making Lauren drive everywhere. It's great. So that's high. Low. Low. I woke up this morning. That's not the low.
Woke up this morning.
That took a turn. That took a turn.
I woke up this morning. I was very tired. And I was just like, because it's morning and we wake up and we're tired. It's like, well, I'll wake up throughout the day. And
just never did.
Never did. Drank all the coffee. Yeah. Was moving around everywhere. Just never. So my brain feels like a motor boat going through like mud.
Yeah. Is today the day you almost fell off your ball chair too?
I didn't almost fall. I was just dancing around it.
He did fall off.
No.
Wasn't an almost.
One of these days.
He was kind of dozing on his ball chair and almost ate it and got a face full of counter.
Oh. Yeah. Surrounded by all the music in my office right now. Oh, well. So, yeah, low is just, I'm tired. Dare I say I'm just exhausted, but sure. I'm just tired. And, yeah, so if I say anything funky, that's why.
Okay. What about Halloween candy references? What's going right in the trash can?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So trash can, easy, candy corn, disgusting. I hate it. I don't know what it tastes like. I don't know what it's supposed to taste like. It's not corn. It's not candy either. It's this
awful.
This flavor somebody made up. And
for those of you listening right now and not watching, Thomas and I are vehemently disagreeing with Shane and Madeline, but we'll have our turn later.
Guess you'll have your turn. As for candy, that's absolute winner. I'd say, I think Reese's.
Yeah.
What is it? Reese's or Reese's?
Reese's Pieces?
Reese's Pieces.
Reese's. Yeah, viewers at home, you decide. But I have no idea.
below.
Yeah, but the peanut butter chocolate combo, it's a
You're
winner.
talking about the M&M size ones, not the peel off.
No, I'm talking about the peel off ones.
That's Reese's peanut butter cups.
Well, it's just, but
That's different than Reese's
nobody
Pieces.
says the full title.
Well, they're totally different candies.
Oh boy, I got a Reese's peanut butter cup in my bag. Just say Reese's.
I thought you meant the bag of the like Skittle or
No,
M&M
those are-
chips.
I mean-
Thomas and I we're tracking here.
Oh, okay, well those are good, but I like the cup version.
Have you noticed that they have certain shapes, like Easter time, they have like an egg, and the egg doesn't come with the black paper you got to peel off?
That's just foil, right?
It's like the waxy paper, but the normal peanut butter cups, you got to like scratch that thing off, and it's got the ridges.
Yeah.
I don't know why they put that thing on the cup if they can clearly make other shapes without it. That troubles me.
They've been doing it this long. I don't know.
It's a chore.
Tradition at this
It
point.
comes with a chore. It doesn't add anything, and they make other shapes that don't have it. So that, all right, sorry.
Well, I don't know.
That's
Either
something
way,
I think a lot about.
I like the peanut butter cup.
Okay.
It's good. I'll throw it over to you.
All right, we'll give our guests
Sorry,
a moment to think here. Highs and lows. Low. Oh man, my lows so often don't change, and then I just feel like this broken record of maybe our listeners are like, if you keep complaining about that, just do something different about it. But I feel stuck sometimes. So one low is schedule feels packed and busy. I'm home for 20 minutes or home for an hour and just running around. And then by the time I'm home for the day, I feel too tired, or I convince myself I'm too tired to break my routine. So I just get caught in the same rut of, all right, put the kids to bed, make a plate of nachos, put on Netflix, go to bed. And it's fun and it's kind of satisfying, but also, I don't know, it seems like there's more important or worthwhile things I could or should be doing, but I convince myself I'm too fatigued to make changes. So I'm stuck in routines that aren't necessarily what I want them to be at times. Couple highs. The fall weather we're having in Washington this year is incredible. It's sunny and warm. I'm ready for rain, but it's nice. And then related to just October is baseball. That's my other low. Cardinals lost in a devastating.
Sorry.
They got whooped by the Phillies. But watching baseball, just playoff baseball, is super fun. So even if I'm not cheering for a team, it might even be more fun when I don't care about the team, because it is much less likely to ruin my day. And I get pretty invested if it's my team. So yeah, those are some lows and highs. Okay, candy that's going right in the garbage. Smarties for sure.
Oh, that's fair.
Smartie. We have a tradition. I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, and in St. Louis, many households, when you go and ask for candy and say trick or treat, you have to tell a joke in order to get candy.
Like this happens everywhere in Missouri?
In St. Louis, yeah,
Oh, it's St. Louis?
It's pretty standard.
That's so much work.
Well, so here's
I would have stopped years before I did.
so my adaptation is people come for candy, and I tell them, I will give you candy, but if you make me laugh, I will give you more. And if you don't even try, I'm going to give you Smarties. Like, you get garbage candy if you don't try. And so sometimes they don't have a joke, and I'll say, if you don't have a joke, one of your friends can tell a joke for you, and you can be like a ventriloquist and just move your lips while they tell the joke, which is hilarious to watch kids who haven't practiced anything. So I'd like to embarrass children in my porch and driveway. But if they make me laugh, they get more candy. So, and having done this for years, they start to show up with jokes next year. Like they know it's coming. They know that I'm going to deliver on my promise if they deliver.
So you've done it in Washington?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, every year, and people show up ready. So Smarties are garbage. When I was growing up, before all of you people, they had fake cigarettes.
Oh, yes.
It was just like a
Oh,
sugar
yes.
cube. It was
Just a white piece of chalk?
Yeah, it was like sugar chalk, and they had a little pink tip on the end, for the flame. Those were garbage too.
That's so weird.
Yeah, giving kids cigarettes. I didn't care so
They're
much
minty
about.
now.
Okay.
I don't know if you've.
No, I didn't care about the
No?
message.
Okay.
I just cared about they were gross.
They've improved.
They have improved. They are mint now.
I like a lot of candies. I like a Butterfinger. Probably my favorite two though would be not the Reese's peanut butter cups, but the Reese's Pieces, like the M&M or Skittles size. I can just put a bag of those down.
Yeah.
And then speaking of Skittles, regular Skittles are okay, but the purple bag or the blue bag,
The tropical flavor and what was
There's a blue bag.
yeah, whatever the not the bitter like spicy ones, the sour ones.
Spicy Skittles.
I think they just mean sour.
No,
Not
not sour. The ones that
habanero
burn.
flavored.
No. So the purple or the blue bag of Skittles, oh man, that's where it's at for me. All right.
No, that was a blue
like
bag.
tropical.
Yeah. There's
One
one's
of them's
tropical and one's
the
something
other's
else.
alternate. I can't remember.
But there's a
Alternative.
purple one and there's like a
alternative
teal.
Skittles.
It's like teal. It's purple and teal, and they're magical.
Wow, I just don't keep up with Skittles.
Well,
Not like we used to.
nope. Nobody's perfect. All right. One of our guests today is Madeline. Hi, Madeline.
Hi.
Thanks for being here.
Not a problem. I live over there.
You live right over there. How about a low and a high, or several if you'd like, and answer the Halloween question.
Yeah, okay. This is probably a good thing. I don't have a lot of lows for this week. I'm definitely tired, but I think that's because the last 3 days that we were supposed to have rehearsal, I've been called, which that hasn't happened yet. But
I don't know what that means.
so
You're called to rehearse.
Yeah.
Just mean show up.
Yeah.
yeah,
You're not always called, but sometimes you are. So you're like on call in case they call you for rehearsal?
no,
What?
Well,
So-
with like in advance.
yeah, you get told in advance if we need you like on Friday, and if they don't, then they don't need you, and so you don't have to go.
So the last 3 times they have needed you,
Yes.
and that's your low?
Well,
I'm just trying to
tired
track here.
part.
I'm just trying to, all right.
The part that I'm like tired from is that because
Gotcha.
they've
So-
been very dance heavy.
Gotcha. Fatigue is the low.
Yes.
As a result of being called several times in a row.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which like I don't mind being called because like I always have a lot of fun when I get there. The like drive over, I'm always like, I'm gonna be so tired after this. And then I have a really good time, and then I'm like, yes, I am tired after this. But they have been very dance heavy. Not a lot of figuring out where we are on the stage, more wing it and figure out if you know what you're doing, which most of the time we do not. But
Yeah.
we're gonna get there. Yeah, so
You will be
that's-
show ready by showtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hope. That's what we're praying for at this point. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that's my low.
Okay.
My high, at my other job that's not theater, I got to hire 2 more people, so I'm like just that much closer to having a full staff. It's a newspaper for University of Washington, and I needed 2 more writers because our newspaper is very small right now. But I got to hire those 2 writers, so we finally have people to actually fill the paper. So I'm very excited about that.
What's your? Can you share your title at the?
Oh,
your
I'm
job
the
there?
editor-in-chief.
All right.
The editor
The editor-in-chief, yeah.
of University of Washington
The
paper.
The whole university.
No, it's the Ledger
Okay.
in Tacoma.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you've been there, but yeah.
That's cool, Madeline.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. So, candy, Halloween, what's going in the garbage? What's going to be your treasured possession?
In the garbage immediately is candy corn. However, there is a worse kind of candy corn to me. There's the regular like white, yellow, orange candy corn. Have you
Don't say
had
the chocolate. Don't say the chocolate.
No. Have you had the like pumpkins?
Yes.
The orange pumpkin. Like,
I have not had the pumpkins.
they are awful. They have that candy corn taste like stronger, and
So
just because
good.
I didn't like it the first time does not mean you should put more in it. Like I didn't like it the first time, not gonna like it the second time.
Have you had the chocolate kind?
No.
Where the
chocolate kind?
bottom third color is like brown and it's chocolate. It
Sounds
it's delicious.
worse.
That sounds so good.
It's so good.
I can't figure out where I stand on that. but
Just
no.
remembering the flavor and just thinking of like
I grab
flavored
it by the
wax.
handful. I'd put a whole
No.
two. Yeah.
no.
Well, you
Sometimes I
guys,
savor and eat one color at a time, but it's usually a fistful.
you guys can grab it out of our trash if you want.
Yes, please.
My brothers, if you're listening, I acknowledge that I am strange in our family. My brothers don't like it either. Okay.
Yeah.
So
no,
what do you
it's-
like then if it's not delicious
Oh.
candy corn?
Honestly, most every other candy. I am so specific, but I love the miniature Snickers, like the little squares, just because, like,
Thomas isn't feeling it.
dude,
That's allowed. He'll have his voice here in a
it's
minute.
less mess because it's not like a gigantic wrapper, and it doesn't
Yeah.
melt as easily. I've noticed.
Do you get messy eating a lot of candy bars?
Well, if it's the big one, then I usually forgot it's there, and
Oh.
it ends up kind of melted, and then it's just a disaster.
Okay.
But the little ones, I'm like,
Yeah.
it's easy.
It melts in your hands too when you're holding the big like.
Right.
I
From
think you're eating it too slowly.
I mean, it's been a hot minute I think since I've had a full size candy bar.
Well, your birthday's coming up, Shane.
No, it's
Eventually it is.
yeah,
Oh my
that's
gosh.
where I am at with candy.
All right. Well, thank you, Madeline. This is a get to know you portion of the show here. Thomas, welcome.
Hi.
I'm really glad you're here.
I'm glad I'm here too.
I've never met you, by the way, before today.
Really?
I don't. I mean, passing briefly.
Maybe.
Anyway, I'm really glad you're at the table.
Me too.
So, what's a low and a high from your day or week or last 20 minutes?
A low is that I had I had pre-SATs today, and that went on. I think it was like 4 hours of just sitting in a classroom and just like,
Oh, I don't miss that.
yeah, it was not fun at all. We just kind of sat there for 4 hours, and then I forgot to bring my calculator for the math section, and they don't hand out calculators during it. So it was like geometry, which I'm already like slightly bad at, and then, but like, cause like for math for me, I can't do it without a calculator. I need a calculator for math. So then without the calculator, I just kind of crumbled in that. But it's okay. It's just the pre-SAT, you know?
Yeah. I don't remember being able to use a calculator, but maybe I'm just old, or
I could.
I think I could.
Okay,
Must have
maybe
been an
just
old.
forgotten. I may have forgotten.
They just give you a
Gosh.
I don't know something.
Yeah. And then a high for today, I guess this week in general, is I have homecoming on Saturday, which is really exciting because last year when I was a freshman in high school, we didn't really have a homecoming. It was like this really weird like walk-in thing where it was like walk in, get pictures, and then leave basically. So then you would be there for like 5 minutes and then go. But this time we're actually having like the dance and like everything. Like
Is there
that.
a theme?
I think it's Under the Stars this year, so
Okay.
that should be fun. Yeah, I'm excited.
Nice. It seems like it's usually under the stars or under the sea. Like those are the two options.
Yeah,
Under the Sea makes me think of Back to the Future.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's been a solid option for that long.
It's just that
Like
good.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
and then in the candy section,
Yeah. Let's get real here. Let's get real, Thomas. Say what needs to be said.
I'm scared, honestly.
the candies that I don't like Almond Joy, and I don't like Snickers.
Okay, that's not fair.
Okay.
And
What about mounds? Mounds.
Mounds, I'm not a Mounds person either. I'm not. I for some reason, which is really weird because we'll get to that later. But I don't like Snickers.
It's got a lot to say.
I don't like Snickers because of the nuts in it. It like really throws me off, which is really weird because like moving on to my favorite candies, I love Twix, which is kind of just Snickers
with more milk.
with more caramel and without the nuts, which
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just don't like Snickers.
So Twix is how I learned selfishness as a child, I think.
Selfishness.
They used to sell them in pairs. Now the little ones come in singles. And the slogan was 2 for you, none for them.
Oh,
That was the pitch was if you get Twix, you can have both of them and you don't have to share with anybody. 2 for you, none for them. Twix. So
that's
some
a
kids
way to
watch
go.
Sesame Street and learn the alphabet. I learned to not share.
That's a
Good childhood.
That's a good motto.
2 for you, none for them.
Yeah. Least favorite candies. Did I already say my least favorite?
Yeah,
I'm
you
lost.
did.
You said Almond Joy and Snickers.
Oh, I love Twix and candy corn. And I think the beauty of candy corn is that you're not supposed to feel good after eating it. And I
don't feel good looking at it, Thomas.
I feel like that's the fun part of it. Like while you're eating it, you don't think about it, and then you're done eating it, and you're like, "Why did I eat this much?"
Yeah.
But then you stare at it again, and then you want to eat more. So then you
I think
keep
we
on.
have a different definition of fun.
I like that it never goes bad. You could have the same bowl of candy corn for 30 years. It's just as good on the last day as it was on the first.
It's going to taste the same in 30 years than it does now.
It's true.
That's a selling point.
Yeah.
It's consistent. You know what you're getting.
Yeah.
So why is it called candy corn? It's just
Corn does not look like that.
not corn.
Comment below if you know the origins of candy corn. All right. Well, that we could probably spend another good chunk of time on candy. And
Candy corn alone. I have
candy corn alone.
so much to say on that.
This might just turn into a bonus episode. We never actually get to the headline. But ostensibly, we're here to talk about theater in a church today. And I love to hear from our guests, Thomas and Madeline. You're both in this show.
Yeah.
Is this your... well, let me ask first, what are you doing in the show? Madeline, what's your role? You said dancing earlier.
My role is kind of wherever Loretta and Annie want to put me, I go there.
Okay.
That's really it.
Just do what you're told.
Yep.
Do you have a title for this? So in the is it called a program? Playbill? What's it? So what?
Either.
What will let's say next to your name in that?
River City Teen Ensemble.
Okay. Thomas, what about you? Part of the River City Teen Ensemble?
Yeah, basically the same thing. I just do what I'm told, walk around, dance, sing sometimes.
Have either of you been in shows before?
Yes.
Whether here or elsewhere. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Thomas, previous show experience. What's your background with theater?
This is gonna be fun. When I was 8, I saw my sister in a camp show, and my mom has always been fond of musical theater. My dad hates musical theater, which is really funny. But my mom has always been super into it. So then my sister got into it, and my brother was slightly into it, but I saw my sister, and then one day my mom was signing her up for another camp, and it was Beauty and the Beast Jr. And I was like, sign me up. And it was me just kind of being I love my sister. I want to follow her and do what she does and that sort of stuff. And then for my first audition ever, I sang Happy Birthday, and it was really good. I got LeFou somehow. I don't really know how.
Happy Birthday.
From Happy Birthday. Yeah, and it was really good. And my sister was Belle. And then after that, I kind of just fell in love with theater. And then it just kind of became this reoccurring thing because 4 months later, I was Aladdin at the same little camp show place. Mm-hmm. And then...
Is it always musical theater? Because you said musical theater specifically.
Yeah. Musical theater is my main thing to do. I've sort of branched out at different times. I've almost gotten into a couple Netflix shows and stuff like that.
So you said LeFou.
LeFou.
And Aladdin, you were...
Aladdin.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh. And then a couple months later, I was in I think I was in Shrek Jr. And then I was just in the ensemble for that, which was fun. Yeah, that was fun. And then I did it was part of the same camp thing that I had been doing where I did Aladdin, but it was an honor show. And I did a show there, and that was really fun. And then I did Fiddler on the Roof. And while I was doing Fiddler on the Roof, my mom signed me up for a show at Village Theater, Matilda. And she signed me up not expecting anything to happen. She was just oh, this will be fun for you. We'll see what happens. I don't expect you to get in or anything. It's just have fun. And then I got a call back, which was really unexpected. And I barely knew what I was getting myself into. So I didn't at this point, I didn't know what professional theater was or anything like that. So I thought I was just auditioning for a community theater show again, or something like that. And then they really just kind of throw these tiny 8 to 12-year-old kids into like this intensive callback like thing where they make you learn like 3 different songs, they make you learn a dance, and they make you learn, I think it was like 2 monologues.
Okay.
And then you learned it. They like had this whole day where like all the kids came in and learned it and like learned all the songs and stuff like that. And then they gave you a week to learn it all. And then you came back the next week and did your callback. And for my callback, they were doing it by first names, and I had T. And each person, it like varied, but each person had like at least like a 30 to 40 minute audition because there was a
long audition.
There's a lot going on. And earlier, so it started off with dancing, and then you would go in to sing, and then you'd go be taken back out, and then you go in to do your monologue. And then since they were going by first names, I was the second to last person. So I sat down in a hallway in the Village Theater for I think 7 hours. And they had a person sitting in the hallway the whole time. Like the whole time just like watching you, because they wanted to see like, they didn't want to cast kids who were like crazy jumping off the walls and like doing a bunch of stuff
pretty
like that.
smart. Yeah.
And you were like,
So you had a 7-hour audition, actually.
Yeah, I was like, I think I was 10. It was like, I was 10. Yeah. And so we were just sitting there for like 7 hours. And yeah, you basically just sat there. And then after your audition, they send you off, and then they're like, you either hear back or you don't hear back. Like you don't even hear back if you like don't get in or anything like that.
No, they don't even tell you no. It's
just
not even
like,
a no.
It's either like they tell you yes or you just get ghosted for
that's
like
cold.
Yeah. So I think
Is that standard? That doesn't seem like that's standard.
it
Is
is standard.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gross.
Kind of. A little bit.
So
You're bringing Shane to tears over here.
I know,
So
sad.
I think it was for like a month. I didn't hear for a month. And then all of a sudden my mom got a phone call, and I got in, which was really fun.
Wow.
Right. And I think only they had 36 kids at auditions, or like, no, it was 50 kids at auditions, and only 12 got in. And basically, since we were all kids, the rehearsal process was from June, and we opened in November, which was like, so you had to be
That's
like,
long.
yeah, you had to be like dedicated. It was like really, yeah, it was a long rehearsal process of like, and when we got in, we didn't even have like, cause all the little kids have like roles and stuff like that. They didn't give us like roles. We were just like a part of the show, but we didn't know who we were. So we needed, like we were fully in the show, but then they made us go through more auditions to like
slot you specifically.
yeah, to get your role. And I think we heard in May that I got in. Rehearsals didn't start until like June 8th or something like that. And rehearsals would happen like periodically, like every week or two or something like that, which was really weird. Yeah. And like you'd go and you'd learn some music, and yeah. And then they finally like casted who the kids were going to be in, I think, middle of July. And then you heard back, and they were like, hey, this is the role you got. I ended up getting the character that, I don't know if you guys have seen Matilda. I got Bruce, the character that eats the cake, which was a really, really fun role.
Did you have to eat an actual cake on stage?
It was really weird. It was like it was like almost like a balloon, but it was covered in leather, and it had like these weird springs that you would push down, and each night they'd cover it with chocolate frosting, and they'd put Cool Whip on the top in like little circular corners. So I wouldn't really have to like eat it, but I just kind of have to like shove it in my mouth. And the whole thing was like, basically like, get as messy as you can. Like, we don't care how messy the stage gets, just like get as messy as you can.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
I felt that one.
So we did like for a while, it was only kid rehearsals until October 9th, because usually for professional shows, it's only a 2-week rehearsal process and then 1 week of tech. So we didn't meet any of the adults until like 4 months after we were all working together. So like all the kids already knew all the music and like we were all memorized with stuff. So then the adults came in, and then that's when we really started to like put the show together and like go through run-throughs, because they really expect like the adults to be fully off book after like a week of rehearsal, because they teach everyone their music like the first week, and then the next week it's like, okay, we're gonna dance now, and then the third week it's like, okay, it's tech week time. And then you start doing tech week, and then the show finally opened, I think November 9th, which very long. And then I think the show was 98 shows in total.
Oh, this was serious.
Yeah. What? 98 shows in total. And so the way that they casted roles was really weird, because it was like some people only play one role, some people only, and these are like the kids, some kids had to learn 2 roles, and they like did like this weird thing. But if you were like one of the people who only played one role, you would have 64 shows of just that role. And then if you were one of the kids who had 2 roles, you would have 32 shows of one show and of one role, and then another 32 shows of that role. But it wouldn't be like, for this amount of months you're doing this role, and then this, it'd be like, today you're doing this role, and then tomorrow you're doing this role.
Whoa.
And there were 8 shows a week, but you didn't do all 8 shows a week because like, I think it went against like equity stuff and stuff like that.
Oh, just child labor laws.
Yeah. So
Those small things.
I think I had 4 to 6 shows a week.
Wow.
And it went from November to February 3rd. And during that time, you moved theaters. So you would move, they have one main theater in Issaquah, which is the theater that you're at for like the first 2 months. And then in the next 2 months, you move over to a different theater in Everett. And during this time, like, things really started like kicking off for me, like in the professional world of theater. So like every like couple of weeks, it was like, you have an audition for this, and then you're auditioning for this, and then it's basically just an audition in the middle of you doing a bunch of shows. And it gets really stressful, but you just have to like pace yourself and like be calm. And I think I'm like 11 by this, right? And then I auditioned for something at the Seattle Opera, and it wasn't really an audition. They just measured me, and they were like, okay, cool, have fun.
Like how tall you were?
Yeah,
Okay.
They measured like my waist size and how tall I was. And it was for a Steve Jobs opera. Like, like it was called The Revolution of Steve Jobs. And then like 2 months later, I heard back that I got in, and then I think show started in March, and this is the same year that Matilda ended. So like a month later, I opened another show. And I didn't have to sing or anything. It was just like an acting role. And I played young Steve Jobs, which was really cool. And I think every opera's really weird.
Yes.
It's like every week you only have 2 shows or something. Really it's either 2 or 3 shows.
Okay.
And it's really weird scheduling. It's like Tuesday, Thursday, and maybe Sunday, or it might be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Okay.
Just because like they get really, really scared that like people are gonna hurt their voices and stuff like that. And then
makes sense.
yeah, so we kind of left that behind because like, well, we didn't leave it behind. It was just like I started growing and stuff like that. So then that show was done. I think it was like 4 weeks of shows or something like that. And that theater's insane. The Seattle Opera, like, it's insane. Like the backstage is as big as like high school hallways. Like, it's insane. And that was a really, really cool experience. And then what happened after that?
I can tell you what happened after that.
Oh,
I can tell you what happened after that.
yeah.
Wait, what?
Go for it, Madeline.
I've worked with Thomas before.
Okay.
Fun fact. My theater background is nowhere near as interesting as that. Goodness.
Do you remember your first audition?
Yeah, it was a hostage situation, actually.
Like literal, or that was your
kind
role?
of.
What?
I had a friend who did the theater camp here.
Okay.
Her name was Kelsey, and we were friends from school. She was one of my best friends, and I came to see her in, oh goodness, what was that show? Hansel and Gretel, I think. If you haven't heard of what a Greg and Lee special is, you're going to find out. So she did that, and I was like, oh, super cool. Like, I knew this church was here, but I don't regularly attend here. I attend the other Lutheran Church in Federal Way. So I knew it was here, but I had no reason to be here. But I came to see Kelsey in that, and she was like, you should do it next year. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm good. Thanks. I don't love being in front of people. So that's a hard no for me. And then the next year rolled around, and she was like, hey, you want to go to church with me next week? And I was like, sure. Okay. I mean, it's the other Lutheran church in this city, so why not? I don't care. And she's like, great, it'll be on Monday. And I'm like, you guys have church on Monday? And she's like, no, it's just like for a camp thing. And I was like, okay. So I went, and it's the theater camp, and I did not hugely realize that I was going to be at said theater camp. It was a very, very quick decision. And at the same time, I think that same summer I was going to Huna.
Oh.
And so I spent a lot of time at this church in about a 2-month span.
Yeah.
And I learned very quickly that, like, I really liked the people. I really liked the community. I was not fully sold on the theater thing yet, but we got there eventually.
Yeah.
2 days in, it was Little Red Riding Hood. 2 days in, the director of that, I think Danette directed that. I don't know why I'm looking at you, but Danette was involved. And the entire
A previous guest on the show.
Yeah. She's also the stage manager of the music band, I believe.
Yeah.
Is she like the stage manager? She's one of them. We have like 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
But she was involved. There were a couple other people that were like directors. Steven is one of them. Steven Barbarossa, who's also in the Music Man. And they kind of dropped me into Little Red. Like, I was going to be Little Red in Little Red Riding Hood.
Wow.
And I was like,
Title character.
okay.
That's like Aladdin in Aladdin. It's kind of a big deal.
That was where we were at. And it's so Greg and Lee are the people who rewrote this story that, like, we all know, but they changed so much of it to, like, be fun for parents as well. Like, they're not gonna make you sit there through, like, your 5-year-old singing some little thing and running around the stage a little bit. Like, you do sit through that, but we do throw some jokes at you to keep you entertained a little bit there. So, but it was rewritten, and it was the story you knew. You didn't know the story anymore. Like, the 3 little pigs were also involved in Little Red Riding Hood, and somehow DB Cooper was in there. And yeah, I don't really know how that happened.
Cooper, who like
jumped out of a plane.
Yeah. Okay.
He was involved. So it was a very confusing show. I think the wolf was that was center stage. Just kidding. I was gonna say, I think the wolf was a vegan. Oh, but actually, I think he was. In this
sounds
one.
on par for like those their productions.
But yeah, it was just this absolute chaotic mess that had a script. And so I was like, you know what? I'm in. Like, okay, sure. Why not? I'll see where this takes me. That was like a 2-week thing, because that's how long drama camp is. And on one of the performance nights, my friend Kelsey's like freaking out a little bit. She's like, Loretta's coming to this show. And I'm like, who's Loretta? And I'm like, I don't know who that is. And she's like, she's watching the kids to figure out who she's going to cast in the fall show.
Scouting.
Yeah.
Scouting.
So for theater camp, that's where your first round of auditions for the fall show happen. Because she makes sure, like, she wants to see how you act, how you sing, if there's singing involved. And then she'll ask Danette, how did they behave during the day? So there's a lot of auditioning that has to happen there. But I didn't know who this person was. I didn't know what the fall show was. I didn't really know any of that. I didn't know what I was doing the next day. I knew Huna was coming, so that was where my brain was at.
Yeah.
But I ended up auditioning for the fall show that year because Loretta had watched me in Little Red and was like, I'd be more than happy to have you audition for this fall show.
Now, is that a song? Is that a monologue? When you say audition, what do you prepare for that?
For the fall
Like Thomas
show,
Davis measured one time. Like you're the right height. Perfect.
for the fall show, I was 14, I think, for the first fall show here. It was No One Is Alone. No, it was 2014, so I was 13. No One Is Alone was just a mashup of a bunch of Broadway songs, kind of similar to what you guys did last year.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it was kind of the first round of that. And what we did for that was just singing, because we didn't have speaking in that one, very much like last year. There weren't like scenes.
Yeah.
So she just had us sing. And since I was a kid, she had all the kids sing together. And then we sang, there were like 5 of us. So we all sang together and then we sang individually. And that was it. They didn't measure me or anything. So I didn't know if I got in or not.
Yeah.
But that was kind of my like introduction to theater. And that was, I continued to like it. So I'm still here.
Yeah.
Do you have a go-to audition song?
Oh,
Do you tailor your audition to the show? Like the mood or the tone? Like Music Man is kind of like light and
he's
happy,
nodding.
I think.
And I'm like, no.
Or do you pick like this is I can nail the song, or I want to bring something that's the opposite to show variety, or I want to kind of dial in the tone to the show? What is that like?
So there's like many different ways that you can do it. Like, in what I usually do is I go by era of the show. So there's
okay.
It's
Deep thinking, right?
yeah, there's like
Seriously.
contemporary shows, which are like the newer shows, and then there's the golden age show, which for example is like Music Man. So that's how I do it. I either pick like a song that's like closer to the age of the Music Man, or if it was, I don't know, some other show that's like newer.
Is it bad form to like audition with a song from the show? Like you don't do that? That's just like an amateur kind of thing?
Some of them.
Some-
My last audition before this one was in like 2021, I think. And they had me do a song from the show.
Yeah.
But they told you that.
Yes.
Okay. But they'll usually give you some kind of spec of, hey, we want you to do a song or a speaking part or a couple songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry. It's all fascinating to me. Do you have a go-to, either of you, of if it's just a free spin, something you can nail?
I tend to do, I know I do higher songs like soprano, alto. I don't know how much music you know.
I know SATB.
Yeah, that.
That's a term. That's a term.
Yeah, I tend to stick in my range, which is soprano. But other than that, I'm not really picky.
Seems like you should all stick in your range, right? Like that's
Yeah,
going to be
that's
a
kind
bad
of the-
a bad audition otherwise. All right. I don't know much, but I have a sense of you want to be in your range, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some of them, a lot of like audition songs, like some that are just like deemed like an audition song. Like there are so many that I feel like I've heard everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like maybe from Annie, I'm over it. I can't do it anymore.
So not maybe.
No.
What about Justin Bieber's Baby? No.
No.
Okay, not pop songs. All right.
Be a fun audition. If you audition with that.
Love to sit through that one.
Yes.
But I don't have like a designated song.
Okay,
Thomas might.
what's your go-to? If they say free spin, you're bringing this one out.
I usually go with "Oh What a Beautiful Morning" from Oklahoma.
Okay.
Which
Bold.
is which is like
I think that's what you did for this show.
yeah, that is what I did for this show.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of songs right now because like I recently went through a big voice change.
Yeah.
I went from like soprano
Yeah.
and now I'm like a high baritone, which is
Okay.
really weird.
Yeah.
Funny how that happens.
Very funny.
Shane, what am I?
What are you?
What's my? Do I have a?
I'd put you in bass.
No.
You never talk. I've never heard you in a high
Like singing? I think I
Yes.
sing a lot higher than I talk.
No.
All right. I wouldn't have guessed bass in like a
actually,
choir
no, you
setting.
don't.
All right. Well,
I feel like it's default to put a male voice at baritone, but
Isn't that like a happy medium?
it is. I think most guys nowadays aren't comfortable singing high, so their one's like, I'm not a tenor,
I
but
think I'd
they
rather
are a
sing
tenor.
high. I think I'd rather sing high.
You'd rather sing. I don't know,
But I
I've
can't.
never really like
All right.
He's never
extensive. I've never
analyzed your
auditioned you.
We sing at each other in church. He's far away.
That's true.
Shane, what's your go-to audition song?
Oh, I don't think I have a go-to audition.
Come on,
song.
you don't be embarrassed. You're just
I
embarrassed.
don't. It depends on like
It's maybe from Annie.
Yes.
it depends. It depends with what I know well. So like if I've sung it,
So what
had
do you
to sing
know
it
well?
before. I don't know if it's come up in voice lessons and I've sung it for that, or I've sung it in a previous show. I'll likely use that for an audition. I'm not gonna
All right.
I'm not gonna come in with a song I don't know well, and like
Yeah.
I'm trying to practice too hard for the audition. Like I'm gonna likely come in with something like I'm very familiar with. I know I can do well. And like I had a lot of experience with that song, and it just so happens to work well with this thing I'm auditioning for.
I feel like you're evading the question still. So, what is that song
He's
that you
dancing
know very
around.
well?
I am, because I don't have like a song that I audition for.
All right.
For this show, I auditioned with a song from a very obscure musical movie. I don't know, that I've never seen before. It's called I Heard the Bells, and Dean Martin was playing it.
On Christmas morning, that one?
No. Or no, it's The Bells Are Ringing. I don't know, but it's called I Met a Girl, and it's very like Tin Pan Alley, like very like, I don't know, just Dean Martin like era. It's old. So
Yeah.
but I had to sing it for my voice lessons because my teacher made me sing it. So I'm like, well, this will be perfect for the Music
Yeah.
Man because
Also what
it's
I
that
did.
era. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't do any kind of era.
Oh yeah.
What was yours for?
Mine was it was called Alyssa Green. It's from The Prom.
Oh.
I've never heard
Yeah.
either
I
of
don't
those
know.
things.
Yeah.
I think it's my favorite show. It's so good.
I gotta hear that.
But yeah, I didn't do any kind of
Are you prepared right
era
now?
studying.
Shane? No.
No.
I don't know.
I didn't do any kind of era studying. I'm like, I don't know what this show is at all. So I'm just gonna go in, go for it, get out. That was kind of my mindset for that.
I got a question for you two here, Madeline and Thomas, and Shane can chime in if you want. I don't have a performing arts background. And so I am trying to figure out for me what auditioning would feel like. Have you experienced anything else in life that is comparable to preparing an audition and then waiting for that potential callback? Is it so for our listeners and viewers at home who aren't in musical theater? Is there anything they could be like, oh yeah, it's kind of like that, or is it just this is something that theater people do?
I feel like there definitely are things that are really close to it. I just don't know what.
Okay.
My senior presentation kind of felt like that. My senior presentation for university is the one I'm talking about, not the high school one. That one, you stand there, you talk, you get graded. This one, you have your like project outline and what you want to figure out or what you want to do, and you have to propose that to someone. And it kind of felt like an audition because I have all of this material that I prepared, and then I have to show it to my like advisor, and he has to be like, yeah, you can go forward with this project. So I hadn't even done the project yet. So I have like here's what I think I'm going to do. And I have to give it to them, and then they tell me either yes or rewrite this completely. So it kind of felt like an audition, but a little more intense to me.
Shane,
Yeah,
is it
more
like a
on
job
stake.
interview? I mean, you
That's
does
what
it
came to
feel
mind.
similar?
That's what came to mind when you brought up that question.
Yeah.
Because I've had, I don't know, a good amount of job interviews, and it very much is like it very much is like I'm preparing things to present to people for this role, quote unquote, and so like I'm presenting everything I can for this specific role. But I guess unlike an audition, like you're auditioning for like one job, and likely who's ever giving you that job, like you did well, but you didn't get the role you wanted. Like, it's not going to be like,
we are looking for a janitor.
yeah, exactly. So like, I guess there's more forgiveness, I guess, in like musical theater auditioning. Like from my experience, I'm less nervous for, and maybe it's just because I sing a ton, so I'm not like nervous as I once was, but like I feel less pressure for like a musical or theater because like I don't know, on one side of it, like you might get the role you want, or on the other side of it, you might just get a role and you can make the most of it. Unlike a job where you didn't get it and your life depends on it. So
it's more at stake.
You're not going to make rent this month.
Yeah. There's much more at stake. So that's what came to my mind.
Is that weird to hope for a part and to get cast as something else? I feel like I'm a bitter, angry, competitive person, and I would like rather quit than be resentful in some other role. But maybe I'm just petty. What is that like, to hope for a role and then to get something else? Do you rebound from that easily? Is that just part of the business?
It's definitely part of it. I think 90% of the time I don't go in looking for a specific role.
Okay.
I think I've definitely only had one audition that I was auditioning for a specific role because it was a call for that role. Mm-hmm. But that was the 2021 one. So that was the like most recent thing before this, which I didn't go in like wanting a specific role. But like, I can't speak for Thomas.
What about you, Thomas? Sure. You ever hope for a role and get something else? What's that like?
That does happen. Like, and I think, I don't know, it's just like, after doing theater for a while, I guess my mindset is like I'm just happy to be doing theater. Yeah. And I don't know, it just like doing theater makes me happy. So I think as long as I'm like doing a musical or like a play or something like that, that's all that matters to me. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess a comparable thing as I asked the question, I remember, so trying out for hockey teams is probably the closest I've come to auditioning. Even with job, I don't think I've had interviews in the sense of I'm trying to get a job. So most of my professional life has just been trying to figure out, is this a good fit for both of us? If so, great. If not, fine. I don't want to force something. Mm-hmm. But I remember in high school trying out for the hockey team, I had played forward primarily, and I wasn't going to make the team as a forward. And so I ended up more or less trying out for defenseman position and was just happy to be on the team and loved to play and enjoyed that role, even though it wasn't what I was maybe shooting for. Mm-hmm. So I guess sports tryouts is probably the closest I've come to that.
There's a lot of similarity in that.
And being judged, like that's a weird thing as well. Like you're just a number. Yeah. Like there's just people with clipboards. I'm picturing, by the way, Loretta like showing up in a disguise as the scout to the drama camp. But I'm sure she didn't. But I like to imagine her in some very dramatic disguise in the background.
She did. Yes. I think she did have a clipboard though.
Oh sure. Mm-hmm.
I think she did.
You got to have a clipboard.
It's mandatory.
Yeah. Make a lot of furious notes, and it's just doodles. You don't even see what they're writing down.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
you go. Do you want me to go?
You
go. Okay. I don't know. You brought up numbers, and the thing that makes me like, it just like pops something in my mind that like I do find during auditions, and I'm like I like kind of love having that like anxiousness in my like because I think it's like fun. Which is weird, but
that feeling, that kind of nervous energy.
I think excitement. The only thing that like really, really gets to me is right as they give me numbers for like dancing, when they're like, "You're number 90." For some reason, that just like makes me crumble inside, and I just get so nervous after they give me a number. They like give me a number, and I'm like, my anxiousness just goes up.
The number that you're going to audition, or the number like you're just dancer number 90. What do you mean?
Yeah, they like give you a number because they don't want to like memorize or like have to remember your name, so they just point at you and you're like number 24, and then they'll just be like number 24, you're out, and then you just leave.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, basically.
Thanks for playing.
Wow.
All right. So, Madeline, Thomas, I want to hear each of your answers here. Besides telling a listener, come see the show, what advice would you have for somebody who doesn't normally go to live theater and they don't know how to best experience it? So come to the show, and what advice would you have for them to get the most out of the show? Like, do you show up an hour early? Do you show up 10 seconds early? Do you sit,
no,
do you sit in the front and
neither.
back? Like what? Like, I don't know how to go to the theater. Tell me how to enjoy this the best. Should I watch a trailer for the Music Man on YouTube?
No, I think with most shows, at least the ones that like I've seen or been in, knowing nothing about it, like, is usually okay. Which
That's weird, right? I mean, like, I don't read a book, or I've never seen a movie knowing nothing about the book or the movie.
like you can look up, like, you know, on the back of a book where it gives you like the 4-sentence kind of little thing. Like Wikipedia has that. Yeah. So if you go on there, you can kind of see, oh, this is where we are. This is the time period.
Okay.
But this show, we added something. Loretta added this little bit in.
Okay, no spoilers here. I don't want to get yelled at by anybody later.
I'm not
All
giving
right.
like a plot.
Shane, you got the button ready over there?
The swear button. No.
But this one, we help you a little bit
Okay.
with telling you where we are and what's the
So
date.
you'll help us get caught up to speed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we do that occasionally throughout the show. And I think we have in the past with other shows. We're kind of like, here's where we are. Here's what we're doing. Everyone good? Great. And then we do like whatever it is we're doing.
Okay.
So this one, I feel like you don't have to know a whole lot and you're going to catch on very quickly.
So if I don't put words in your mouth, but one tip Madeline would have is you don't need to research, just show up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. Because I feel like when people heavily research, that's where their like expectations come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we might mess up. And sometimes we change things to like fit, like we are in a church. So we are going to change some of the things that are less church friendly.
Okay.
And so like people are going to be like, hey, where's this part? And we're like,
Yeah, it's not there.
we don't really know what you're talking about. But like, don't heavily research. You can, like my mother, she will look up on like Wikipedia. It's her favorite place to be. She will look up on Wikipedia like, oh, here's the synopsis. Here's the everybody's character background. Now I understand what we're doing. So,
And you would not recommend that.
No.
Just clarifying, despite what
Sorry, Mom.
what Julie would do.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Thomas, what's your new theater? I don't know how to go to a show. How do I get the best out of it, most out of it?
I think like the same thing that Madeline said, and just going in like open-minded, because like because I feel like not knowing what you're getting into and like stuff like that is always like the best theater experience, just like Madeline was saying. And I think that especially in like I love like original shows so much, because like you don't know what you're getting into, and even if you try to search it up, like you can't find anything about it. So it's like, I think it makes it that much more exciting to see the show instead of knowing like this is when this song happens or stuff like that. It's like, what is going to be the next song? Like, when is the next song going to happen? And I feel like it makes the music, especially for like our show, that much more enjoyable, because it's like, I don't know what's happening and stuff like that. And
I mean, we do have a program for this show. It's going to tell you what we're singing when, but other than that, you don't know what we're going to do.
Yeah.
I love that. It kind of feels like real life in that you have a script, obviously, but just show up and enjoy and see where it goes and kind of enjoy the ride. Sounds cliche, but I think there's something really true about that we don't need to rehearse and have everything. You have to rehearse.
We have to rehearse.
In terms of like life experiences, we're not always in control or ever. And you walk into a meeting or a dinner or anything, and it's just like, well, just see where it goes and be engaged in that for what it's worth. Yeah. I'm excited. I don't.
That's good.
I won't be at all the shows.
Fake fan.
Yeah, you can comment below.
We change it up every time.
How about this? If we get Shane, we should put out. It's going to be too late at this point, but for every 5 new 5-star reviews on iTunes, I'll come to a show. So if we can get 10 new,
I'll definitely manage
5-star
and look at that.
reviews.
Yes,
I'll whatever. Do the math. I'll be at the shows. No, I'm going to be here anyway for some of them. Cool. Thomas, thanks for being here.
Yeah, of course.
Madeline, I disagree with you about candy corn, but his grace is sufficient even for you, and we can still be friends. Shane, as always, it's been real.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's been fine.
See you tomorrow.
We set the bar at fine, and we did it.
Fine,
we did it.
Nobody died. There we go.
Cool. Well, viewers, listeners, thanks for taking time. Thanks for being part of the conversation. Hope you can make it to a show. If you can't make it to the Music Man, go check out another production of something. Go support the arts. Be part of the conversation. Be part of the community. Go get a coffee or beer or a fistful of candy corn afterwards and dig into what you experience and see how it connects with real life. Shane, final thoughts?
I think you said it perfectly.
All right. That's it. We're out. See you next time.
That's the end of the episode, but we want to continue the conversation. Continue the conversation by sharing this episode, subscribing, or leaving a review. Connect with us on Instagram at 2414 Podcast. Connect with us through email at 2414@stlukes-church.com. Or best of all, keep the conversation going by inviting someone to process with you, so that you can each walk away with more understanding that leads to more conversation as the journey continues. If you happen to be in the Seattle-Tacoma area of Washington, stop by on a Sunday morning and say hi. 2414 is a podcast produced by St. Luke's Lutheran Church in Federal Way, Washington. To find more content, discover upcoming opportunities to connect in person, or to support the show, head on over to stlukes-church.com. Thanks for walking with us.